We watched 12 Monkeys, me more recent than DadMan, but it was on DadMan's recommendation. And I wanted to tell you, this is something to kind of think about that might make you think a good bit. But first of all, do you know what year 12 Monkeys came out?
No. I don't.
1995. And you know what spurred a thought in my head after I watched that movie?
You were born then.
I was born then. And just for being silly's sake, I was like, that might be the best year in film.
Okay.
And it's an argument that I'm going to make here today.
All right.
And I may be wrong. I may be right. I'm going to start with some of the good movies before really diving into the really good movies. But Usual Suspects, 1995, Kaiser Soze. Also, just so that DadMan isn't getting shorted on this exchange, even though he didn't watch the movie I recommended, but it is what it is.
Which part of it?
We will discuss 12 Monkeys as well after I give my little sales pitch. But Usual Suspects, some people think that's the best twist in all of cinema. Yeah. Kaiser Soze, Kevin Spacey. I have a few that are more artistic. One is a Kathleen Bigelow. She's the woman who did Zero Dark 30. She also did a vampire film with Bill Paxton that I watched. Can't remember the title. But anyways, it's Strange Days. It has Ralph Fiennes and Tom Sizemore.
Oh, I saw that.
Good movie. Also 1995. Crimson Tide, 1995. Tony Scott, obviously DadMan. He likes Pretty Boy Robert Redford more than Gene Hackman, which, I mean, I guess if you are into that type of thing.
Spy Games was just way, way better than Crimson Tide.
Spy Game, singular, and no, it was not. Then you got The Addiction. This is we're diving more into the artistic territory. Christopher Walken's in this. It's an Abel Ferrara film about vampirism. It interweaves philosophical tidbits into intertwines. Leaving Las Vegas, not as highly regarded by me personally, but it was what won Nick Cage one of his Oscars for Best Actor. Goldeneye also came out in this year. More artistic stuff. I'm talking Tokyo Fist. This is a Shinya Sakamoto, Japanese
Let's
director.
go with movies people have seen and try to make
this
your
is
case.
This is just the
try
appetizer.
to make your case there, Chief.
This is just the appetizer. But that is my favorite Shinya Sakamoto film, just for the record. But I'm going to pull up my favorites list.
All right, you don't have to go through like 80 of them. Just like, if you can't make your case with 6 films, then you don't have a case.
Well, this is where the case is going to be made. So just...
No. You'll go to 50. I know you.
Well, now I'm just going to... Because I have like 6 films. 12 Monkeys made the list. I should have left it for last because we're going to discuss it in detail. This is artistic. It's English. Harmony Korine was the writer. Larry Clark, director. It's called Kids, 1995. It had Chloe Sevigny in it and Rosario Dawson, but it was largely like an actual teenage cast who were just like New York City street kids and skateboarders, and it has this pseudo documentary film or feel, and it does so really well. I think it's a masterpiece.
Okay.
It's disturbing. It touches upon the AIDS crisis. It talks about kind of how inner city living can be. You
suck.
It can be fun, but it's probably not good for your future, you know. And then there's a very controversial character. I'll just leave it at that, and a very, very dramatic ending. Braveheart, which I know speaks to you. That's a 1995 film. Mel Gibson is amazing, both in direction and as William Wallace. I was telling you, and we're going to touch upon this on other videos, but like those historical epics really have been really getting into those lately. These are the heavy hitters now. Are you ready for this? These are top 75 films all time for me currently. 7.
What? You're not going to do all
Ever heard of
75, are you? Yeah, I've heard of 7.
David Fincher, Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, and What's in the Box. I think that is one of the best psychological thrillers of all time. One of the best villains with John Doe. Everyone who watches it can see the brilliance of the crimes and how here's another thing. I think it's stated in the movie. Well, yeah, because he knew the whole time that he was one of the sins. John Doe did, right? Like, he killed 5. He was to be the 6th, and Pitt was to be the 7th of the deadly sins, I think.
What was his sin? John
Envy.
Doe's. Oh, okay, yeah.
Fucking tremendous. Then, this one, you'll again be excited. He's not even Casino. Martin Scorsese.
Very good. Excellent.
Robert De Niro. And I'm just going to stick with De Niro because he had a fucking hell of a 1995. Because the creme de la creme is Heat, 1995.
Oh, wow. He did both of those the same year.
In 1 year.
That's some good stuff.
Honestly, 1999 has a case. Though it does not have the same heavy hitters that 1995 does. And I haven't seen enough of most other years. I've seen a lot of 99. I like a lot of 99. But 95, it has the great movies. It has the masterpieces. It was a really badass action year. The 90s is when action did really start to pick up, I would say.
Probably. I can't remember the 80s, so it's hard for me to say.
Well, 80s have been said to not be good. I don't watch a ton from the 80s, but maybe once I do, I can touch upon that. But let's get into 12 Monkeys. Do a review on it. First and foremost, the time travel aspect where Bruce Willis sees himself as an adult when he's a child and vice versa. That is really, really cool.
I think the end scene in the airport I thought was super cool. And that guy who was carrying the virus, who had tickets to all over the world. And it started in Philly, and it wouldn't have if it weren't for the
guy in TSA.
Yeah, who made him open up their samples of air, really just germs.
Yeah.
I still don't, like, I knew that woman that he sat by on the plane was one of the scientists. Mm-hmm. But she said she was in insurance. I remember that.
Yes.
And I don't know if that...
You don't know
I don't understand a connection, or maybe... I don't know why... I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. Not that it had to. It's just if you're going to have that character on the plane, in the very ending of the film, and she was in it prior as a character, then
there has to be something.
Yeah, why is she a
Well, when I actually didn't pick up. So fans, if you have an answer, let us know.
Yeah.
But see, I didn't focus in on the profession, and maybe I should have. I thought it was like it was under their nose the whole time. Same with Bruce Willis, that like they brushed shoulders with the guy without knowing it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess Bruce Willis didn't yet, here's just something. That is perpetually going to happen. It's a time loop. Because Bruce Willis is going to continuously grow old and turn into the Bruce Willis that goes back in time that his younger self sees.
Not necessarily. I mean, maybe, probably, but not necessarily. I mean, granted, he went back in time, and, they didn't stop what they were trying to stop.
But the butterfly effect maybe changes things.
Well, a different timeline, create a different timeline by doing that.
Is that what you're proposing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that.
I think he's stuck in a time loop,
Well,
which is like a form of hell, you know. But at least he finds love, and there's hope before he passes. But
yeah, possibly, probably, yeah. I didn't think of that really all that much.
That's why I thought it was super cool, because I'm like, fuck,
It's gonna keep happening.
it's the same kid, you know. It's
I tell you what, Brad Pitt. Wow, does he put out in that movie?
if that was the first role I saw him in, I would never guess like the type of career he would have.
Oh my God! See, that's the thing. What he did, I kind of admire, is he was, he's well known for being super attractive and all, but he did things that made him look like horrible. Like that one,
his eyes look all fucked up.
Yes. He
I'm
was
sure
so
it's just
good.
contacts, but I was trying to figure out like.
Well, I don't know how and what he did, but it was. He was the best actor in that movie, no question at all.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, because Willis is never gonna.
He wasn't bad. I'm not saying that.
He's a strong, silent type. You're never gonna be blown away by.
Yeah, his performance.
And like he's very good at that. But like he's like Clint Eastwood, but
yeah,
Clint Eastwood's a little bit more cool.
Yeah.
But I do like Bruce Willis though. Bruce Willis is badass and Die Hard, obviously.
Yeah.
But just in terms of charisma or the quiet character attributes, like Clint Eastwood has got it.
Yeah.
And like if you're talking badass action stars, like Arnie, for my money, would be the dude.
Yeah, I know Jason Statham seems to be in thousands of these types of movies now.
Yeah. He only
seems to be the go-to. It's like action movie, okay, call Jason, because he's in so many of them.
Well, The Rock was doing a lot. The thing is, they just churn out so many shitty ones. None of them have the solid story that 12 Monkeys seems to have had.
I wouldn't even consider that like necessarily an action movie. I didn't think of it that way personally.
Thriller,
there was action
like a
in
psychological thriller more.
Yeah, I guess I would put. There were some parts of it, like when they were in Philadelphia, it's like, oh my God. I don't know. They were in a balcony of an abandoned theater, and some guy just attacked her, and
they made it seem like the world was
like it was already post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, and Terry Gilliam directed that, and he's someone.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. You mean the guy from Monty Python? That's Terry Gilliam?
Let me double check that just to be.
I'm pretty sure
because
he's done. He did another.
So yes, he did Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and he also did Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Okay.
He did another one called Brazil, which is supposed to have very strong visual style.
Yeah.
And I watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail like when I was like in high school or maybe in college, and I was like, this is fucking crazy, man. This is comedy like I've never
I thought it was the funniest movie I put that that's my number one comedy.
That's a good choice.
I know some people, maybe because I'm older and first time I saw it, I was so impressed by it, and I have a little bit of a
nostalgia?
Yeah, for it. I just think it's hilarious. Some of the stuff in there is just so funny to me. Now, there's a lot of good comedies, obviously, and I'm like, but for me, that's number one.
Like, this was actually kind of a subtler approach from, and I have a limited sampling of Terry Gilliam. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Brazil is like off
it's
the
supposed
fucking
to be
hook.
Really, yeah.
And Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is crazy.
Yeah.
I was like 14 years old and I watched this. I said this on one of the... I really did. I felt as though I had taken LSD.
You experienced it.
And that I was like, my mind, I can't experience things the same way. My mind is broken.
Yeah.
Like, And that's what people who watch a movie like that, they want an experience.
Well,
Like
that type of movie, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not every movie. I mean,
right.
You're going to see Marvel.
Immersive.
Yeah. But he is, and it was tamed down just right for this type of film because it has so much that it has to try to communicate on top. And I
think it was really pretty tame. The Brad Pitt character, which kind of had to be that way for him to want to do what he did.
Yeah. Well, he had nothing to do with it. Brad Pitt. Well, he did the zoo thing, but he had nothing to do with ending the world.
Who did? The guy that...
It was the head researcher.
The old man?
Not the dad. It was his lead researcher. They always thought it was the 12 Monkeys because all of the news clippings and what everyone had heard was the 12 Monkeys saying we did it.
Yeah.
When in fact it was just they did a zoo thing on the same day that this got released. And
the guy who was carrying it, was that the head?
He had long hair.
It was kind of weird colored. Well, that was the guy who was carrying the samples.
Yes, that's the guy who did it. He had nothing to do with Brad Pitt. It was all...
Are you sure?
I'm positive because he never has any
interaction
dealings with Brad Pitt, and you see his own personal motivations because the girl who likes Brad Pitt at the end. Do you remember she was doing a kind of a press docket for her book? And
yes.
He gets it signed and he's standing in line and he's talking about her.
Yes, yeah.
And
I still thought he was part of 12 Monkeys. So you're okay. I must have mistook that. Yeah. Well, she talked about the Cassandra
effect. Yeah. And he says that at one point later on, when he hears something on the news, he's like, "Oh, it's their very own Cassandra effect," which it is in the movie. So Bruce Willis is destined to tell the world about impending doom that he can't affect, and by saying it out loud seals it into history. Yeah.
Well, that's what the Cassandra effect... Well, Cassandra was cursed in knowing the future, but no one would believe her.
Yeah.
That was her curse, Cassandra.
And this is a awesome, whatever you want to call it, adaptation of
that myth. Yeah, you're right. It is. I never put two and two together, even though I've seen that movie at least twice, maybe 3 times. I just think it's very well done. I think it's great. I mean, there's stuff that just is, like I always talk about, in life, just things happen that aren't going to necessarily contribute to the plot.
Yeah.
And I know it seems to me that is kind of, there were scenes when they were in Philadelphia and, just he's a pimp, thinks he's trying to muscle in on his thing, and he comes in and, he gets into a fight, and does he kill the pimp? I know he cuts his own tooth out.
He just ties him up in the
bathtub?
The bath curtain in the bathtub.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or the shower curtain inside the bathtub.
But, they obviously don't make Philadelphia look...
they made Philadelphia look like New York City from Taxi Driver.
Yeah, right. And then maybe it was at that time.
Well, if it's not then, it probably is now. If you
parts of it are worse than that.
Yeah.
Kensington, yeah, you're right. I mean, but now it's a gritty movie. I like that element of it. It was kind of cool when remember there were the kids that supposedly fell down a well, and they were just hiding in the barn. Yeah.
And Bruce Willis.
He just says, yeah.
Yeah.
She said, "What are you talking about?" I was like, and he just kind of brushes it off.
Yeah, because it's a weird. He doesn't even remember how he remembers that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of stuck.
Right.
In his head.
A childhood memory.
Yeah. I want to ask you. I'll start. My rating's a 4.5 out of 5. what's your rating? And then if you have anything, because in my mind, this is a must-watch movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to know 90s film.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. It's a standalone. I don't think it's anything part of an era type of thing.
Well, yeah, but I think if you want to watch the best of that decade.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Type deal, something like it's not necessarily part of a movement or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you think is like, which is hard. I understand because this is a pretty damn good movie, but
it's one of my top 10. I mean, sometimes I don't remember it. If someone were to ask me my top 10, I may forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but
that's why I have
it's in
mine
my top
written
10.
down.
Well, I should do that. Put it in my wallet, just in case.
Put it above your driver's license.
Yeah, hey, Mr. Officer, here's my 10 top.
He's like, you know what?
This is exactly my list. You can go. You can go, sir.
You want to come over and have dinner? Anything come to mind?
No, I mean, I would watch that movie. I mean, some people won't like it. If you like romantic movies, it's not. Although it's somewhat like in the midst of complete chaos, there's a romance that happens
just enough so that the dates aren't completely
right.
Bored out of their brains. But yeah, definitely check it out. I think it's like huge. It's a must watch.
Yeah.
It's one, unless you don't like any of the films that I talked about from 1995, but a great contributor to that year, and one that I will, for now, claim to be the best year in film.